My focus and my most intense curiosity is what happens with the human natural intelligence now and in the future, and what we can do about ourselves. That's my interest, and education is obviously one of the most powerful and important framings for addressing this question. It's not the only one, obviously, and yeah, not everything we do, not everything that develops us is framed as education. So you could also address this through the empowerment potential of what's of everything what's happening now with the development and advancement of the noosphere, how this impacts humans, and how what's possible, and also what's required. And this question of what is required, what we can aspire to, it's the most relevant question for education in the context of the noosphere, I believe. I had the pleasure of being involved in the Human Energy Project already for some time, and recently I've been giving a few workshops with different angles, exploring with my colleagues and collaborators different angles of approaching the noosphere in a human context. And one of those workshops was for educators involved in mostly in teaching the age group of adolescents, and also academic teachers, academic instructors that work with adults. And there in this workshop, we have been approaching the question of what is the noospheric education, what can it be, in quite intuitive and bottom-up way. It was the design of the workshop. So what we did, we had purposefully not very coherent set of ideas, just to start us with thinking in different directions about what the noosphere is, what was written about it, who is saying what. And then the educators for 3 days have been working with actual classes, fragments of classes they were preparing to teach. And then we had this something like a slider or volume slider going up. And the question was, after the first round of classes on different topics were given, we said, okay, let's bring up the noosphere, okay, just a few degrees higher, and please redesign your classes. That was basically the setup. So when people have problems defining notions, doesn't mean that they don't understand and they don't feel what's involved. So the classes changed immensely. The samples, the micro teaching, like we have been actually teaching those classes to one another, and they became more, I would say, open-ended, exploratory, more flat in hierarchies, more peer-like, rather than like one there knows something and the rest is listening. More embodied, interestingly, based on involving movement, and also seeking to actually experience something that I would call maybe isomorphism of different layers of reality, kind of reflecting one another. So the ideas were what those educators were looking for was how to organize a class, how to organize an experience, so that the learners in the room become this hydrogen and so on. Yes, how to let them feel into the learning, the phenomena that they are learning about, and how to find in themselves the reflection of that. So that was very, very fascinating to me. Then when we made another round and the noosphere went even higher, I wouldn't say that like very many new dimensions appeared, but they were more daring in that, and like it was even less like the conventional classes that you would expect to see. There was technology involved. The technology was involved more as a peer. So, for example, collaboration with AI, generative AIs were considered that okay, that's just one of the crowd, one of the team members who's quite neurodivergent, So why not why not try and use this diversity for our task, for our learning. And a lot of technology was also involved and brought up to connect. So the rooms started to be interconnected. People from the online that was also a part of the event were more and more involved in what was happening in the room. So it was very beautiful to see what they were doing. That we didn't talk much about what the noosphere is. The idea was okay, let's try. Let's try, knowing the framing. Let's try to make it happen. My other interest in education is actually trying to talk about it and trying to find concepts that address those give words to those intuitions and those emergent properties that we easily can tune into when we are invited to do so. So I'm also in working on those topics. I'm searching for concepts, and I'm listening. I'm noting the concepts that are being brought up here. Yeah, because once you have a crystallized understanding of what you are doing, obviously this is an immense facilitation and acceleration of that intention. And in fields such such powerful and impactful as education, the conceptualization, the correct conceptualization, the daring and very very hopeful and powerful conceptualization of what education can be and aspire to, it can have an immense effect. So it's in my view a very important question and task to continue this work that we heard about from the Montessori community as an example of how to think about it. So in this approach, I'm searching for concepts, cognitive science concepts, philosophical concepts that could furnish the discourse, the conversation, conceptualization of pedagogy. How the noosphere can be raising its young humans in a way that is isomorphic. Yes, more and more alike to, similar to what the complex reality the noosphere is. So that they will recognize more and more one in another, and in that my focus is on the question: what do we actually want? What do we want? What do we want to see in people that are partaking in educational trajectories? And I'm involved in two projects where we are I'm attracted to those moments. So one project is for adults, and it's a postgraduate program, 1 year long program, which is called the School of Thinking. And it's really one of those adult education programs that it's very difficult to sell to your employer. And we have been even denied, the funding from Belgian agencies that support adults in their adult education, because the questionnaire we got was aimed to assess if the competences we are developing are useful and needed for workplaces. we appealed, but then we didn't get it again. But but it's about thinking, about the ability to think, to become a free thinker. That's the focus. But those people who are coming, they are actually not really in the moment in life where they focus on work and job competences development. It's typically more mature people. The average age is around 45, I would say. And this is age group that is attracted to the program. They joke about themselves, and it's felt. And either like people from 30, their 30s to their 60s, they say the same. They are in a perpetual midlife crisis. So this this age group is attracted to this type of programs, and I am attracted to them. And another group equally forceful in seeking meaning and breaking kind of out and through seeking and searching for something different and new is adolescence. So this Buckminster program that I'm involved in is focused on adolescence. Trying to come and meet them in this need for meaning, which in those moments I have a sense that actually stories, as powerful as they are not all, yes, and not sufficient. It's an existential crisis moment, in which you make yourself, you rebuild yourself. You don't want to be told things. This kind of a moment, which is very very beautiful, and I believe should be taken with most care, because it feels like like this life force or this force of consciousness is really demanding to be taken seriously in a biologically programmed way. Like those people are seeking to belong to the whole, to this cosmic story of the whole. So if you try to conceptualize, in those like pedagogical terms, what is the learning they are seeking? There is some threads in psychology, mostly in transpersonal psychology. There is this beautiful book which is unfinished, and because it was being written by the end of his life. Abraham Maslow's The Farther Reaches of Human Nature. So it's not a fully composed book, but it's amazing, putting together his ideas of what comes next after self-actualization, which we do probably remember from Maslow as the like the top of the like what the human is about. And then Maslow said, okay, there are farther reachers, yeah? And transpersonal psychology is probably the most psychologically oriented label for what those people are seeking. But we have in humanity long traditions in putting names and giving examples and some developmental tools for achieving those further reaches, which come from not from educational per se, but from those wisdom traditions that sometimes are religions, sometimes are spiritual paths, sometimes that probably this is what wisdom traditions boils down to, where you have notions of enlightenment or sainthood depending on the tradition. So it might sound unattainable, but maybe maybe humans are like actually deserving to get to their unattainables in larger numbers once we already are able to develop artificial intelligence, where we are able to like fly in the sky, where we are able to, like peek into the deep history of cosmos with our telescopes. Like why not try and continue to put together tools and methods and know-how and frameworks for getting people more and more, into those territories. And it seems to me that if we are serious about the power of the noosphere, not only as a technological interconnectedness in which people are, like just clicking those those buttons, yes, but about a spiritual and interpsychological phenomenon. Humans are not yet finished, it seems. Yes, there's also some development needed in us, and it's such a, I'm so ambivalent in moments where we are so self-congratulatory sometimes. Like it feels like we meet together for 3 days, we put together all those beautiful, inspiring ideas. And like I have this voice somewhere in my mind, like, hello, have you seen the news? This kind of, I know it's annoying, yes, but it's there, yes. Like if we are speaking about humanity, there is real humans on this planet today doing all sorts of things we wouldn't like humanity to be doing and experiencing, yes. Yeah, definitely, we can have beautiful ideas projected into the future, and they are, like more and more beautiful, more and more projected they are. But we have also humanity as it is, and it needs to like pull itself up over and over, yes, to dream, to live up to the dreams that we are discussing, and it doesn't feel to me that it's always an easy and pleasant path. The inspiration can take us far, and it's very needed, but there's work in it, and there's difficulties in that, and yeah. Otherwise, why wouldn't we all be, like saints, if it wasn't that difficult? So. I'm wondering about this dispositions to be cultivated, to be developed, to be aspired to in educational setting, in the context, like if you try to reason, from the notion of the noosphere. Okay, what are the dispositions? Yes, can we become more precise, more rigorous in approaching? In a cognitive science way, what is this mind? Yes, what is this mindset or frame of mind that we are interested in, that would be bringing forward the noosphere? Yes, in one sense, the noosphere, we are deeply in it all along, and always have been as the type of beings that we are. On the other hand, it's becoming more and more, yes, and it's becoming more and more itself. Something is bringing it forth. It's not only cables and silicon chips, obviously. It's also something in us, and I'm curious to zoom into those moments. The moments that, okay, there was less of a noosphere, and now there's more. Now, what makes it happen? Like this gradient to increase, and for that, like one approach that I wanted to share with you today might be going through the understanding of the difference of the moments that bring forth the biosphere, and the moments or events or processes that bring forth the noosphere. Maybe there we can see something precise, or maybe not. But that's the exploration. Because if we have this, that's the line we have been working with in the days now, and also in the Human Energy project, and in many other places where the noosphere is discussed. It's discussed in the context or in relationship with the biosphere. And that's in terms of definition, you seek for a definition that it's relating one to another in some way. And the noosphere would be where the mind is, or thinking is, where humans are, where technology is, where consciousness is. Yeah, which we know it's problematic after listening to all the whole collection of thinking about consciousness. But then, like if we put those, like it obviously is not right, yes, like fully right, because all human affairs are not noospheric affairs. After all, we are animals, and we are biological beings, and so much of our existence, also cognitive operations, yes, is biological processes. Yes, so like there's biosphere going on, and in us. We are part of it, and then our our affairs are also biospheric affairs. So it's like by the types of entities, chimps here, humans here, it's too simplistic, obviously. Yes. Also, that's arguable, but if you say, okay, where the usage of signs or symbols starts to enter the scene, then we have moved from the biosphere to the noosphere. And yeah, but there is a field of biosemiotics, for example, which is searching for the usage of symbols or signals and signs in the biosphere. So I don't know. Also, there is on the other edge of the noosphere, there is the non-symbolic technologies, which are already like beyond that. Yes, and actually the greatest breakthrough in artificial intelligence seems to have happened after AI the field has given up the approach through symbolic reasoning. So symbol, like I'm not so sure. I think those are fingerprints, but they are not definitive or definition-giving features. I believe. And then like all consciousness here. Yeah. So depending what kind of theory of consciousness you are subscribing to. But if by consciousness we happen to understand cognition, this cannot be right, obviously. Yes. And one of the most impactful definitions of biological process of life by Humberto Maturana and Francesco Varela is equating life and living with cognition. So it's not, like the cognition appears in biological beings. It's making them be. And what they say, it's there is this conventional way of thinking that there's an organism, and the function of an organism, there's cognitive abilities. In their theoretical framing, actually living is cognizing. So there is no living, and having a property. There's no life that doesn't come about as a cognitive process. But then, like we are in a problem here, like if you want to define the noosphere relative to the biosphere, okay, what's the difference? Yes, what's the difference here if there is cognition all the way down in both? Yeah. So I want to propose to you a way of thinking that helps me in thinking about education. What is the difference? It's coming out of this theory of Maturana and Varela, and within this field. So because distinguishing, fleshing out this difference may help us to understand, okay, what kind of cognitive processes this education that is really targeted on the noospheric development would be bringing forth. Okay, what kind of processes? So that's the framing of the question. And in this definition of life by Francesco Maturana and Humberto Maturana and Francesco Varela, they are introducing this concept of autopoiesis as the description of how cognitive processing, or how arrangements of consciousness are creating life forms. And autopoiesis that they are describing is coming about through closures. And living beings are open systems, obviously. There is an exchange of matter and energy all around and all through all those entities that are living forms, and yet they only persist if they maintain an operational closure, which is identity-based. There's not only cognition is making distinctions, yes, but it's not only distinctions between this and that. Like, for example, for the bacteria, it will be, okay, sugar, no sugar. But there is also another, like, deeper distinction between me and not me. And all the other making of distinctions is serving the distinction me, not me. Yeah? So I will be only concerned in distinctions that perpetuate myself as a living being. I will be oblivious to all others that are irrelevant, and whatever I will be choosing in the next time step is making me again. That's the process of living in this autopoietic sense. I have spent a few years. That was the focus of my PhD thesis, tracing the same process in the noosphere, to complicate things a bit. That, the noosphere being a sphere of the usage of symbols, communication, thinking, it's being processed in a quite similar way. And our biological minds, biological organisms of humans, when we meet symbols, when we meet meanings, we tend to do the same on the sphere. Okay? So the materials would be noospheric, but the processes that we are enacting on them kind of like follow the biological logic. Yes? So you close, like whatever is coming to you will hear it, relevant, not relevant for my social systems, for my social identity. Then you will discard all others. Then you will do the particular operations upon the distinctions that you meet that perpetuate the identity that you are invested in. If you don't know as what in the social agency sense you are supposed to act, you don't know what to do, because the identity informs the action. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a noospheric, like it is weaving the noosphere, this type of operation. But to me, it feels often disappointing, like how much human energy, how much human intelligence is wrapped into those, like, boundary making, boundary maintaining, like reinforcing, keeping sticking to, to those entities that are more like organic like, yes, and they are beautiful in plants, and they are beautiful in animals. They are not always beautiful in human systems. If you analyze in that sense, like persistence of the problematic structures in the society, they want to live the same way. They want to be spoken. They those patterns of communication that they keep on going. So this is, to me, it's kind of like a boundary transition between the biosphere and the noosphere. There's new materials, and there is a little bit of an earlier logic going on. There can be, and there must be another logic. And I think that the truly noospheric event of the mind, the one that brings forth more noosphere, is when those boundaries kind of crack open, for a time being. Just, like, it's obviously not that they all, like, should be dissolved. The complexity of the society would immediately collapse. But whenever they crack, yes, whenever you are not motivated out of your identity to listen to, to another story, or to listen to another discourse, and just for the sake of simply being sensitive to what's there, then the internal complexity comes to, like, a little bit closer the external complexity. And I think that in all those steps, this coming, the complexity to match one another, this is where the amount of the noosphere increases. On the planet. So the noospheric frame of mind, and just let me finish with this gentleman here. I believe that a lot of mileage and understanding of what the noospheric frame of mind has been actually accomplished under the a little bit lower scale of lower in scaling of the challenge, but in terms of the emotional, cognitive, psychological development, a lot is happening in the work with groups when people are learning to, maybe it's a very simple thing to say, just to listen to each other, just to endure each other's presence, and we can be speaking about the whole globe coming together, but we are having so much difficulty, as humans, to just simply tolerate the difference of other people. So if that's the case, let's say in a group of 20 people spending a day together in a workshop, that all of a sudden all the differences, annoyances come up. How are we how can we become this global superorganism in that sense? So I really encourage you to listen to this talk, which is on YouTube. It's called The Democratic Frame of Mind. And it's not just simply about, okay, let's tolerate each other. There is a quite complicated theory of the mind involved, that only after we understand each mind as this collection of voices, of characters, and we learn to allow it to expand in matching the external complexity, only then the actual coming together of people and an increase of collective intelligence is possible to happen. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Vasilisa Glauser. Hi to everyone who's virtual also. And I don't know your name, but he's right by bringing Dabrowski up in this group, because one of the things about Dabrowski, most of us might be gifted, and the gifted community really embraces that. So to everyone here, if for your own emotional landscape, if you look at that, I would recommend that. And my question to you all is, how do you see the arts playing in the education of the noosphere in today?
It seems that the arts is the native language of the mind, isn't it? You're asking about the arts, yes? Yeah. So I understand the arts as the native language of humanity. So yeah, like how else could we think about education, and particularly in this context of positive disintegration, yes, that positive disintegration, for those of you who maybe not be familiar with the term, is in the context of what we're speaking. You could think about it as this, like the bursting open of the closure that is kind of narrated identity, social thing that you have been socialized into being, and then you lose it. Yes, you kind of remove yourself out of it, in which process what happens with people, and it's adolescents, but it's also adult people that go through this process. It's often the case that you lose your language, really, like you are not able to speak coherently anymore, because what we are, those linguistic structures, those symbolic structures, are structures of meaning that are built of the usage of language. And when you stop believing, the type of you that you used to be before, you want to get out of this language. You want to get out of those forms. And then if we didn't have the arts to express ourselves, like what else would there be? So before you develop a new language, that you actually, you feel it's expressing the deeper you. Yeah, yeah, you start speaking something different, yes, which is kind of like more primordial, more humane, more universal, and I think that's the arts actually. So yeah, so it's like there cannot be education through this process without the arts, in my understanding.